You have like a really warmth to you today, Crofty.
They were two assassins, fierce combatants. They took no prisoners when they're racing against each other.
Simon, I'm an assassin.
You are an assassin.
I would have pulled the radio plug.
It was Monza, and I think the Tifosi were expecting a lot more.
He just goes right, bang it on, and was brilliant.
He just disappears off planet Earth when you're trying to get better terms.
He's carrying trauma from session to session.
Max Verstappen, top 5 driver of all time in the history of our sport.
I'm sorry about Mr. Rosberg's comments there. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Shut up, Nico.
Oh, that's nuts. That's nuts.
Welcome one and all to the post-Monza podcast, or the latest inquiry, whatever you want to call it, sponsored by Audi, which saw Max Verstappen this weekend reignited, reinvigorated with a rocket up the backside of his Red Bull. And he showed the Tifosi, didn't he, and everybody else watching, that when he has the car underneath him, he is absolutely peerless. A tacit reminder, as if we needed reminding, of the Dutchman's brilliance and his first win, would you believe it, in 3 months. But the headlines, once again, dominated by the papaya-coloured cars and the papaya rules for what they perceive as fair racing. If you're Oscar Piastri, you might have left the Royal Park in Monza with a nagging feeling that, yes, you played the team game, but you could have had a 37, not a 31-point lead. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by the inimitable David Croft and the 2016 World Champion Nico Rosberg. First things first, I'm not going to lie to you, Nico. First Monza I've missed in 14 years, and I was a little jealous of you standing up on the podium again in front of all the Tifosi spread out, but they didn't have a Ferrari win to celebrate this year. Slightly different atmosphere.
Yeah, but first of all, Simon, I can see it in your face that you missed Monza because you look very refreshed and relaxed. But anyways, Monza. Yeah, the Tifosi always bring the atmosphere there. But I was on the podium, as you said, and with all of our Sky colleagues. And yes, it's not, they don't go crazy like if a Ferrari won the race like last year. So, of course, it is a difference. But still, they were in a good mood and they were celebrating and cheering. And it was still incredible to see, as always.
Yeah, they've always find something in the occasion. Crofty, were you in and out of the finest pizza restaurant in Milan, Alambic, or were you elsewhere? Did you take Nico out and show him a good time and a bit of pepperoni?
We invited Nico out for pizza, but he had a better option on Saturday night instead. So he declined pizza with the Sky crew. Although, to be fair, he looks very good on the fact that he wasn't eating pizza for the weekend. I love the fact that Tifosi, in light of the fact that neither Charles or Lewis could get on the podium, decided Max Verstappen was the one they wanted to adopt. And during the Dutch and Austrian national anthem, we also had the unofficial Max Verstappen anthem, Max Verstappen. I could definitely hear that over the Dutch and the Austrian tunes.
Yeah, well, I mean, should we get straight into it? I mean, by the way, on the podcast today, we're going to discuss McLaren. We're obviously going to discuss everything that happened, including Max Verstappen and that brilliant display. Lots of good questions you sent in for Nico and Crofty too. And there's a giveaway a little bit later. Ooh. There is a giveaway on today's podcast, the first ever giveaway. So for those that didn't watch, I mean, the real drama, whilst Max was away and gone, was McLaren deciding to pit Oscar before Lando. It shouldn't have led to the undercut, but it did because of the slow stop that cost Norris 3.9 seconds and meant that the Australian jumped him. Nico, if there was a championship on the line and this was Abu Dhabi, then what?
Super hard question. But let's go back to Zandvoort. Yeah.
Okay.
Formula One records. Most wins, poles, and championships. Check out these Formula One records, including most driver and constructor Grand Prix wins, world championships, and pole positions. Motorsport is all about pushing yourself and your car to the absolute limit. Over the decades, Formula One records have tumbled as drivers have pushed harder, engines have become more powerful, and the cars, inevitably, faster. Achievement in F1 is spread between constructors and drivers. Over decades in the sport, teams like Ferrari, McLaren, and Williams have broken Formula One records with consistently quick cars and the fastest drivers. Here, you will find the Formula One records for most championships, race wins, pole positions, race entries for both teams and individuals. If you want to know more about the youngest drivers to win championships, races, points, and podiums, read our article here. Upon winning the 2024 season, Max Verstappen breaks into the top 4, going level with Vettel and Prost. Lewis Hamilton remains atop the record table alongside Michael Schumacher with 7 titles apiece. The German was dominant at the turn of the century, winning 5 titles on the bounce with Ferrari. These were in addition to his double world championships with Benetton in the 90s. It was a record that looked unassailable. However, Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes' dominance in the hybrid era turned the motorsport world on its head. Hamilton replaced Schumacher at Mercedes after the German's retirement at the end of 2012. Since then, Hamilton won 6 world titles between 2014 and 2020. Those 6 titles, along with his maiden championship in his second season with McLaren, make him the joint most successful driver ever. Juan Manuel Fangio's record of 5 titles in the 1950s stood the test of time. The first great driver of the Formula One era, he finished first or second in the championship in the first 7 seasons he entered. His record stood until 2003 when Schumacher clinched his 6th title. Alain Prost's battles with Nigel Mansell, Ayrton Senna, and Nelson Piquet earned him 4 titles. As did Sebastian Vettel's absolute dominance with Red Bull in the early 2010s. As the longest-serving team in Formula One, it's no surprise to see Ferrari sitting atop the Constructors' Championship table. Omnipresent in Formula One since its first season in 1950, the Scuderia has become a symbol for the sport. But it's one thing to turn up to every race, it's another to win them. For decades, the Scarlet-Red Ferrari has been at the front of the grid, and it has won the Constructors' title 16 times, along with producing the Drivers' Champion on 15 occasions. Its world champions include Alberto Ascari, Juan Manuel Fangio, Mike Hawthorne, Phil Hill, Niki Lauda, Michael Schumacher, and most recently, Kimi Räikkönen. McLaren snatched their constructors' title since 1998, when Lando Norris won the 2024 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in December. That sees them go level in second alongside Williams, but there is still a gulf between first and second in this list. Williams has been present in Formula One since 1977 and took its 9 titles throughout the 80s and 90s. Keke Rosberg, Alain Prost, and Damon Hill are among some of its driver champions. When he first stepped into a Formula One car, the paddock knew this guy was special. But when Lewis Hamilton took his first victory in Canada in 2007, no one expected what would follow. Lewis Hamilton stormed to a record 105 victories. Red Bull's Flying Dutchman may have stemmed the flow of victories, but Hamilton has demonstrated in 2024 that he still has what it takes to reach the top step. Max Verstappen's record-breaking season in 2023 knocked Ayrton Senna off the 5th and Alain Prost off 4th, and, in the last race of the season, Sebastian Vettel off 3rd. Not a bad season for the 26-year-old driver. Schumacher's 91 wins came mostly with Ferrari, including a near-perfect year in 2002. He took 11 victories, 5 second-place finished and a single third place. Sebastian Vettel's record with Red Bull, and his title pushes with Ferrari, earn him the 4th spot. As you might expect, the teams with the most championships also make up the teams with the most victories. Ferrari remains way out in front and is the only constructor to take more than 200 race victories. However, the last few years have seen Red Bull enjoy a period of absolute domination. The Austrian team broke the record for consecutive Formula One race victories, taking their tally to 15 in a row. The record was previously 11 and held by McLaren, which had stood since 1988. In terms of pole positions, there's a clear winner. Lewis Hamilton is the first driver to reach triple-digit pole positions. He secured his 100th pole position at the Spanish Grand Prix in 2021. His nearest rival is Michael Schumacher, but with 68 pole positions, it doesn't come close to the British driver's total. Schumacher's 58 pole positions for Ferrari place the prancing horse at the top of this table.